had guys, I had boyfriends before my husband. I didn't care for any of them. Sorry, I never told you that. But I was hurt. I was hurt. I was hurt by men that promised me and let me down. And maybe in your case, it's not a Latin lover. Maybe you had a father, an earthly father that let you down. But God's not your father. God's not our past experience. He's God. Be still and know that I am God. So I'm going to give illustrate how I realized I was hearing God. And if it's weird to you, that's how I was hearing God. I imagine like Jesus coming, right? Like a Latin lover with a gold chain. And I open my Bible and I hear, Cris, mi amore. I have plans for you, my baby. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. To give you a hope and a future. You know, my love, that everything worked out for good for those who love me. So, my baby, trust in me with all your heart, okay? And lean on your understanding. No. Come here to Papa. Yeah. In all your ways, submit to him, to me, and I'll make your path straight. Oh, yeah. Guys, do you think I'm going to have faith in this God? Do you think I'm going to listen to his calling and take a leap of faith, believing that he's not going to keep his promise? So that's when I was like, God, I want to hear you. I want to hear you. Help me to hear your voice. So now my God is more like flannel shirt, like a farmer guy. Oh, yeah, Cris, you betcha. I'm going to do it. Oh, yeah. You can count on me. He's more North Dakota now. Sorry, my friends from Brazil, Latin lovers, I'm just kidding. Just trying to make people laugh. I know a lot of men. My father was an honorable, wonderful man, my earthly father. But do you get it? So ask yourself, how are you hearing the promise of God? Who are you projecting in this promise? Right? The world is calling you to project our earthly experience. And God is begging us to hear him. We are here truly to join forces and talk about how can we use the ancient wisdom of the Bible to truly empower our minds, to truly empower our relationships, our lives, our community and the world. And with that, using this wisdom, share the scientific discovery that back up what is here. What I love about LOL, we have people from many backgrounds, denomination. I personally don't like the word denomination because it means, I learned this with Jana, means divine nations, and we are all one. I absolutely love the passage in the Bible that say, there is no men and women, no black and white, no Jewish or Gentile. We are all one in Christ. And for those here that doesn't even know Christ, or I know there is one person here that said, I don't even believe, like I'm almost an atheist. For those who didn't came last time when I spoke at LOL, for almost 10 years, I went through a moment that I was an atheist. Kind of atheist. I didn't know. I was so hurt by this God that I believed was the God and that I totally disattached, and I went through many religions. So I do have a heart, and I want you to, if it bugs you when me or Jana talk about Jesus as God, go to the fact that we are talking about a belief system. Jesus came to reveal a God. Jesus came to reveal a way of thinking and believing and seeing ourselves, that it doesn't matter if we can prove it, if it was real or not, it's going to affect your health, your brain, your self-esteem, and your life. So if there's a part of you that bugs, that's fine. Go to the belief. Like if I start believing that there is a loving God, if I start believing that there is a God that can help me to move mountains, how am I going to walk? How am I going to relate with others? How am I going to work? How am I going to share? How am I going to live? So go to the belief system. Okay, so I don't want anybody to feel like that you're not part of Let's always make room for everybody. And I believe for many years that by changing someone's thought, I change their emotions. By changing their emotions, I change their behavior. But when you receive a call that your father is dying from cancer, your daughter maybe is not going to survive, I am sorry. Don't tell me that I need to think positive. Okay? Don't tell me that. So that's when it was a moment that I let go of everything. I realized that I had a pretty good education, but it would take me years to get over it. I learned about Freud. I learned about Jung. But nobody taught me. What can I learn from Jesus about mental health? What can I learn with Moses about leadership? What can I learn with Mary about family values? I wouldn't be an angry stay-at-home mom if I would learn back then. I came from a background, my profession is I'm a psychologist. I grew up in a big, fat, loud, Catholic Brazilian family of 6 kids. I'm the last one of 6, which means whoever were available changed my diaper. My grandmother was this sweet and really devoted Catholic. And I remember that I was deadly afraid of her God. Deadly afraid. I remember that she used to have this saying. She said, okay, if you don't want to confess, that's okay. But I'm going to go to my room, and I'm going to pray. Always have a pause after the pray. And when I pray, God listens. For 10 years of my life, I was between being an atheist or a completely lost woman that had no clue, was trying to find something to fulfill my heart. I went through so many religions. I'm going to confess something again that I never did to anybody. I ended up in Scientology in Beverly Hills. That's how lost I was. I went to 3 sections, and I'm like, okay, Tom Cruise is not here, I'm out. And I had this dream. I think my soulmate is in LA. And my friend that was single friend in LA said, girl, I'm a single woman in LA. You said that this angel said that your soulmate is here. Let me tell you, you didn't have a dream, you had a nightmare. 3 months later, I was in a party, and this woman, that she was a producer, she started talking to me, and she was like maybe 60-year-old, and I don't know if you know, when you were single and you go to a party and you're looking for a soulmate, you don't want to talk with 60-year-old woman. Are you an actress? Are you? And that's exactly what I am. I said, do you know who I am? A crazy woman. That's who I am. And I told her my dream. And this woman, which I didn't know, was my husband back here in Fargo, business partner. She looked at me and she said, you had this dream? I know who is your soulmate. His name is Bill, and he's from Fargo, North Dakota. And then she said, no, let's call him. Call him. Tell him to come and visit you in LA. And then she gave me the phone. He didn't answer when he read to his male voice. And I just got the phone and said, hey, my name is Chris. I'm from Brazil, and I think I'm going to be your wife. True story. 6 months later, we were married. And I left all my life, my career, and I moved from Brazil to Fargo, North Dakota. I didn't know anybody in town. I didn't have one friend to call. I didn't have one Starbucks friend. Do you know what this means? Starbucks friend is the best. It's the friend that you call, and whatever you share with her, she's like, you're right, I agree. You're right, I agree. Sometimes I just want to vent. I just want to badmouth my husband. I didn't want a friend say, oh, you got to think about his side. No, I want a Starbucks friend. That whatever I say, she's like, you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right. I knew it wouldn't be easy. Wouldn't be easy. And then I moved here, tried to adapt to a new culture. I got pregnant right away. I gained 60 pounds in my pregnancy. My father was getting really sick in Brazil. He was the love of my life. And then my husband and I, we just weren't understanding each other. I came from this culture that we all about passion and, express love and romance. My father is a huge romantic man, like Don Juan. So here, I'm with my husband, and I just wanted him to express more. Like in Brazil, you hug, you kiss in public. And I remember, if you haven't heard the story, I was in a bank in a line, and I'm like, okay, I start kissing my husband, like that's what we do in Brazil, you know, like just, and I remember he's like, psh, this is PDA, don't do that. Like I felt, what is PDA? Like I felt like a cop would put me in jail. That I need to raise my hands up. And I remember the day that I was like, truly, it's funny, but I was like, this is not gonna work. This guy doesn't talk my language. And I looked at him and said, you are not romantic. You know, you don't express, you don't love me, because that's the way that I grew up. So we gotta always be careful. Things that we carry from our past, the way that they teach us, and the question that we gotta ask ourselves is this serving me today? Then I remember saying, you don't love me, you are not romantic. And he looked at me, he said, of course I'm romantic. Of course I love you, I am romantic. I take the garbage out. I help you with the dishes. And I remember thinking, what is he talking about? Right? Until the day, so we ended up in a beautiful process of truly learning from each other and understand that we have many languages of love. So today, when he takes the garbage out, I'm like, look at him. He's taking the garbage out.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost.
When I was down on my knees that day, my daughter was in the hospital, and I didn't know if she would survive. And that was one of the most powerful moments that I remember, that I came down on my knees and I'm like, God, lead my life. Show me what is a life with you leading. And I didn't know 10 years ago, because back then I want to divorce my husband. I want to move back to Brazil. I wanted my daughter to be alive. I want to believe in myself. I was so broken. I didn't know that God had plans for me, a girl that didn't have a Starbucks friend, to be the founder of a non-profit in town called Women's Impact, that we connect to women. I didn't know this, but he knew. He knew that today, August 2015, I'm going to celebrate 10 years with a man that I love. I love him more now than I loved when I met him. He knew that my daughter would be playing and drive me crazy. And she would be healthy. He knew that I would be standing here today, sharing what he did to me when I allowed him to lead. So I do love science, I do love psychology, I still study, but it's more than ever we need to bring faith in God into the schools, into the hospitals, to save people's lives. It's about who's with me. And more mental health professionals start studying what this belief can do in women's life and men's lives. I do believe now more than ever the teaching of Christ, it's so powerful. It's one of the only hope we have to transform our world.
In the Gospels, when you look at Jesus, he takes this wild group of guys. I mean, like, seriously, have you read the Gospels, really thinking about what they were like? They're pretty rough. I mean, they're like these fishermen, and they made a lot of messes, and they didn't do it right. Like, you look at how they did it, they'd come back, but it didn't work, what you told us to do. And he would be like, oh, you guys, okay, do this, and he was just like very gracious. And I think as leaders and as people who lead, the flock or whatever, these 11 men then went and changed the world for the gospel of Jesus Christ after that whole time of a lot of messes. And you think, it's not always easy, and sometimes it's messy, and we just have to be gracious with one another too, in that sense, and learn from our mistakes. It's never too late to say, today I'm making a choice. I'm going to just partner with God and just start seeing some things change. And I really believe he has a plan for each one of you that's incredible. He said, he promised it. I have a plan for you to prosper you and not harm you, to give you hope and a future. And in those plans, there will probably be pain and hurt. But he's also a God that redeems the time, and he takes back and brings some reconciliation.
Look at his promise. And I love this one. This one, actually, I've been meditating on over and over the past month. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not in your own understanding. In all ways submit to him and he will make your path straight. Oh, my Bible say right. Oh, no, it's straight. You're right. Who said it? In my mind, I say right. Okay. Proverbs 3, 5, 6. One day I'm going to memorize. You're going to see. And I love this promise, right? So I was talking to God, and I was like, God, I know faith comes by hearing your word. Why? I know your promise. Why I hear your promise? I go through phases, and I'm in a good phase or another. I wake up 5:30 before everybody, and I read the Bible, and I meditate on it, and I talk to God. I'm like, I'm doing everything, even though said it's not by works, it's by faith, right? But I grew up Catholic. Holy guilt environment. I learned a lot doing. That's my interpretation. Some people are free, but I wasn't. I'm a recovered Catholic. And I was like, why am I doing wrong? Why I cannot have a faith and move mountains? Why sometimes it's so hard? And I don't know what is the mountain that you want to move. Just close your eyes for a second and ask God, what is the mountain that I need to move? That I need to, not me, but believe that you will move. What is the mountain? Maybe you want to restore your relationship. Maybe you have a dream that God's put in your heart and he wants you to take a leap of faith. And maybe you got to move to forgive someone. Or to allow yourself, I just feel strongly in my spirit, like allow yourself to let go of what you cannot change anymore. And give yourself the gift of a new life. A lot of us are stuck in the past. We don't allow, and faith is believing what we cannot see. And the wisdom in the Bible that I'm learning every day in my life is not about me. God, to empower Moses to go and receive this calling, God didn't say, Moses, like we do a lot in women's empowerment, including myself. Many times I did this, and I still do sometimes. God wasn't like, Moses, you can do it. You are fearless. You are fierce. You are powerful. You go, guy. He didn't. He said, you go, and I'm going to be with you. It's not about you. It's about who is with you. And I am with you, and I am God. How can we have a faith leap? How can we have the faith like in Matthew 17:20? Truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Can you look at the person beside you and say, nothing will be impossible for you? Now look again and say, a minute, nothing will be impossible for you. Nothing. Nothing. Can you please repeat with me? Nothing. 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 So I love this passage, but I don't know about you. I need this word tonight because I'm so far away personally from living this in my life. I'm honest to say I don't have a faith that moves mountains. I don't, but I'm going to have it. I'm going to have it. Sometimes I don't have faith to move my 9-year-old daughter from the couch to her bed. Exodus 4, that finally Moses, after going through many doubts, he tell to his wife. There's just one moment that you can hear about his wife, and get his wife and kids and get on a donkey and go to Egypt and accept the calling. And I love this part. Actually, what truly inspired me this word is more Moses' wife, because that woman, contrary to him, she didn't even doubt. Like as a woman, when I read the part that he got his wife and kids got on a donkey, as a woman, I was waiting for the next lines, her saying, "Are you kidding me, Moses? Do you want me on a donkey? Like if it was a camel, maybe. But woman had such a faith in God that she just got on a donkey. So I just feel here when Jana was talking that a lot of people, God has been calling you for something. Maybe, you want to start a blog and start sharing something, or writing that book, or start a nonprofit helping, or restore your marriage, or whatever resources you have, get on the donkey. Okay? If you don't have a camel, get on the donkey. Write 1 page a month, but start your blog this month. So remember that. Think about the challenge as you invite God to lead your life. Do one thing this month. One little thing to truly say to God, I'm listening to you and I'm following my calling.